Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Laurel Park. Such a pleasure to have you with us again. Naomi Tucker, joined by Callie Francois. Callie, very appropriate dress
Yes.
for the fact that tomorrow is Valentine's
Tomorrow's
Day.
Valentine's Day. I just wanted to dress for the occasion. So I've got the red dress, red lips, just a day of love tomorrow. So I hope everybody enjoys it here today, though, for here at Laurel Park, a nice eight race card along with Super Bowl Sunday
I was going to
afterwards.
say Super Bowl
Yeah.
Sunday as well. I'm sure everyone's gearing up for the evening. I think it starts 6:30 p.m. ET. But talking about top quality sports action, we have some coming your way next week on Saturday, Sprint Fest Saturday. Now, I fondly call it Fritchie Day because
Yeah.
Barbara Fritchie, historic Grade 3, General George. We have the Miracle Wood, the White Country for the 3-year-olds, and the John B. Campbell, the Nellie Morse. Really looking forward to these 6 stakes races, $900,000 in purses, and I do believe they're taking entries today, so can't wait to see how these fields take shape. And then we'll also be running on that Monday, President's Day, so just a big weekend coming your way, right?
It is. It's going to be a very big weekend over here, and I'm really excited to see how those entries line up on Saturday for the Barbara Fritchie Day, as it's a lovely coin. But yes, a fun day of racing coming here next week. Don't miss out on it.
And let's have a look at the current track conditions. As you can see, really rated as good. With a little dusting of snow there on the turf, 32 Fahrenheit. But so far, when we're looking at track tendencies, I've discussed this with Keith before as well, has been pretty evenly, right, in terms of horses being able to make ground or carry their speed.
Yeah, I mean, riding on it this morning, it was very flat, very even throughout the track. So we're good to go. And as you said, on this type of track, it's going to play pretty fairly, I would say, and that's really just the biggest thing. You can see the snow isn't really affecting the track at all. As soon as it lands, it melts into the ground. We had a nice warm day yesterday, so that ground is still going to carry that over.
Yeah, it just gives us a lovely backdrop there for the races and a good track to go on for all the runners today. So let's start with your 8-race card. First race, as usual, kicks off the early pick 5 sequence. We have 6 furlongs the distance here. Fillies and Mares 4-year-old up, claiming $8,000 to $6,000. And Callie and I agree on our top choice here in Calypso Ghost. This will be her second start for Kieran McGee, who was arrived there via the claim. Toppled familiar foes 2 starts ago when rating before taking over early.
Yeah, and I mean, this filly, you can kind of just put her wherever you want. She's just been on an absolute roll. The only time she missed, that was a big, tough enough field, but it was also not the way she does things. So despite the fact that she still hit the board not going the way that she normally does things, which is kind of a front-running kind of type of style, definitely in for the win here today for the first.
Think so as well. You have Blue Skies Venezuela in your exact. I use her underneath, takes the class drop, might just take a perfect sort of lead of Lady Magica, who's very fast early and has drawn the rail.
Yeah, so I like that. I think she just might end up doing that just as soon as Lady Magica breaks, kind of just sits right along her, maybe lets Calypso Ghost go if she wants. But JD Acosta, this horse has some tactical speed that JD Acosta will be able to dig into, certainly.
Absolutely. Yeah, I use a horse that you didn't get to, Joyful Noise, who's also kind of slightly dropping back down. I feel like she'll find these foes a little bit easier to handle, and she just has that kind of running style that she can sit behind him, make that move at the top of the lane, and really grind it out. 6-year-old mare, actually 8-year-old mare, excuse me, but she still puts in her effort every single time.
She does, and she did it on the off going 2 starts ago and back in January. So if she can do that, she can do it again. Certainly, she bumped it up, and so she's kind of taken a step backward, and I think we're going to see that type of performance a little bit better from Joyful Noise.
I think so as well. Race number 2 starts at early pick 4. And Keith Fusey might not be sitting next to me, but did still send in his ticket. So let's see how he plays it. Look, doubles in every single leg, $8 in total, 2 and 4 in here. Biscotto di Oro as well as Grey Lover in that first leg. In race 3, he goes 2 and 5 with the 2 Sammy Sunshine. I think she's your best bet. I have her on top as well, so I like her in that spot. 2. Race number 4 uses the 3 and the 4. Now, Amit
Hey now.
Kalola Falls is my price play as well. So I love that he's put him in there too. And no money down for John Salzman. Did have a bit of trouble in his last race, so included as well. Race number 5, last leg. 6 and 7 for him there. I think Beverly Park's going to be one of the speedsters early. And Revolutionary Road might just be breathing down his neck. $8 flat starts here in race number 2. I just mentioned already, maiden claimers, $10,000 to $8,000. Mile and 16 around the 2-turn, the distance. We do have a video spotlight on the horse that we kind of like in here. Biscotto d'Oro, Robbie Bill's train. Bit of bump in beginning for this boy, but he did end up finding his best stride late.
Yeah, and if you pay attention in the gate, the horse is a little bit spread out and behind, which caused a bit of a slower break than normal, then got bumped around due to the fact of that. But as you mentioned, Naomi made a lovely, lovely run near the end of it, coming back at that 7 furlongs. I think he will really enjoy the 2 turns. I think he improved in numbers off of that last go at 7. So I think if you add that to the fact that I think he likes the 2 turns better in general, that's a great combination.
Yeah, I think especially the way he was hitting that wire there late makes me think that getting back to the 2 turns, the mile and 16, is going to be no problem for him there. And he can probably just kind of slot it and save some ground from that lower draw that he has as well. And you had a little bit of interest in number 4, and I do too. Grey Lover for Jonathan Maldonado. This will be his 3-year-old debut. Almost took him coast to coast in his last race in November the 7th. That was. We'll be kind of hoping to try and get the jump on Monogram early, because Monogram is pretty fast early too, so probably be the 2 of them trying to get to the front.
It will be, but I do like the way Grey Lover. There's a decent chance that Grey Lover may outbreak Monogram a little bit, and then what I did like is that was the first time he ended up going to the lead, and I think he simply got tired when they go to the lead for the first time. That's a whole new experience for them.
Costs a bit of energy.
Yes,
right?
yes. So costing a bit of energy, and I think that was kind of what did it to them. So that second big 2-turn route is, I think he's going to benefit. He got a lot out of that first time around it.
Let's see how it fares today. Race number 3 starts allows for filly mares, 4-year-old and up, mile and 16 the distance as well there. But Callie, this starts that Rainbow Pick 6 sequence. I know that you had a look, and this is how you play it.
I did. I could not find one single for today, so I go with the 2, the 5, and the 6 for race number 3. In race number 4, in the maiden claiming 10, 6 furlongs on the dirt, I go with the 3, the 6, and the 7. I don't include Amicola Falls in this one, so we'll see how that plays out. And in race number 5, in that starter allowance, I go with the 1, the 6, and the 7 with Pictor shipping in, as well as Beverly Park. Revolutionary Road should be interesting. I agree with Keith as well in that race. Race number 6, I also go 3 wide with the 2, the 8, and the 9. My top selection with Hummin' the Funk for Hammy Smith, having a nice win earlier yesterday or the day before. Race number 7, I double down with the 1 and the 2, Ain't a Beer Cold, your top selection, and Artistic Reason. And in race number 8, our nightcap before Super Bowl Sunday, I go with the 1 and the 5, Keen Machine and She's a Trip, for a total ticket of $64.80.
Yeah, so let's dive in race number 3, that start of the Rainbow Pick 6 sequence, as I highlight mile 16 the distance here. And Sammy Sunshine will most likely take a fair bit of the bettor's money. We do have a video of her last race where she actually sped to the front and rolled along very, very strongly. I think 2 turns going to work for her, because this was a 7 furlong. You have the 1 turn. I think her speed will be an advantage, and it will come into play here, because in that race, going to the wire, you can see that Tweet Away Robin, who's closing the center, was actually able to topple her despite her really trying her best in that spot.
Yeah, and this filly, she's trying. I just feel like she was asking for more. You can see her still trying to gain after the wire on that. So I think the 2 turns is exactly. I mean, if you look at her 3 wins, going back at Delaware, the 2-turn mile there, the mile and 70 yards, and then back at Pimlico, all in that span of July through September, just made a front bid for it and went away with it. Almost had that same trip last time out on January 27th. Inside-ish post, it's pretty easy. We have also the weight off. That's also a very simple solution. Going to go for the front.
Yeah, I wish that Me Cleopatra and I had run a bit stronger yesterday, though. She was second in that spot, but then again, she was up against it at that first level allowance field. The number 5 you have in your exacta breviary, I have her underneath. First off the claim for trainer Mario Serret, a bit of a complete running style reversal in her last race because she showed that she was able to get to the front, and that actually worked for her. It seemed to encourage her to have some company.
You know, it's very funny, Naomi, when you get these horses that just get stuck. It's like anybody, you get stuck in a rut. All you need to do is really have a change of scenario, a change of pace, a change of pattern, and that just simply seems to wake them up. And I think Bravari was no exception to that. So as far as those two speedsters, I do think the number 2 is going to be just a touch tougher going on the lead. But this filly, she was battling for it the entire time, and she overcame. So that's also something to be noted of as well.
I definitely have a couple of veteran mares in this spot that are, just put in the effort every time. Now, Mavilis on the inside gets JD Acosta to remain on board. He knows her very well. This is first time off the claim for trainer Carlos Mancia. I think she's going to either be pressing or trying to keep Sammy Sunshine a little bit honest early.
This is going to be an interesting race because we just talked about a couple of these horses that are just going to be going for the gun here, and I think I agree with you. I think Matt, she has that inside post. It's very simple. JD is going to be aggressive out of the gate and able to get her there. So that's going to. I feel like this whole race will be really set up within the first 16th.
Yeah, I think JD's absolutely not going to let John Ovello on Sammy Sunshine get away with anything. No. JD's going to say, hello, here I am.
Yes.
Good luck trying to get around me. If you want to go in front, you'll have to work for it. Yep. And then that's exactly what Sammy Sunshine will have to do. But that's why I use Mavilis underneath, because I think she's kind of poised in the right spot to be effective there. Race number 4, another maiden claiming event, $10,000 to $8,000. 6 furlong the distance here as well. Like my price play of the day, Amicalola Falls is in here for trainer Mary Epler. Now, one race today that was as a 2-year-old, so now comes back. 3-year-old debut, now a gelding. Lasix go on, blinkers go on, comes out of a very tough field. The winner there, Shake 'em Loose, ended up winning the Heft Stakes in December of last year. There were 3 next out winners out of that race. It was a sprint, it was a 7 furlong race. He had a bad break, could not get to him, over and done. Slight cut back, drops down. Lots of angles that I think are interesting in this spot. And at the maiden 10 level, you want to go with a bit of price, right? 8-1 morning line.
Yeah, I mean, we were just talking about how excited you are actually about this race, because I feel like
there's prices in here.
I agree with you. There are a ton of prices in this race. The only thing I need to see, Mary Epler, she's okay with blinkers on for the first time. She's 10%, and she is, 17% first after the layoff. So I'll definitely give you there. If the blinkers on are going to do what you think it's going to happen, then absolutely.
Yeah, I wanted to take a shot there, but you landed on the number 3, No Money Down for John Saltzman Jr. in here. We do have a video spotlight because he didn't get the best of trip. Now, actually, I think that was cut a little bit too late because the steady was on the turn where he was sent to hold the rail behind the leader. Amidst a strong drive, kind of moved forward, was boxed in by another horse, had to come back, and that took all of his momentum away.
Took all of his momentum away, absolutely, and ended up just not, and it just took everything away from it. You can see Money Down just passing the wire there and that's the type of thing when it does happen. I think that, that just completely knocked this horse out of it. But despite that, here's the thing, despite that, this horse still ran a little bit. He did make up a little bit of ground, but overall evenly. But when he does run on those speed numbers, they can smoke him a little bit here, especially with that last performance, despite having that trouble last time out.
Yeah, he's getting back to sprinting. I think on paper, it really doesn't look great at all. But if you take away what happened there, he could have run much better. I'm thinking that would have been higher than that 39 buyer. You're looking maybe a 45 if he actually got the run. So like him in here, but do go with another price because I think most of the money is going to come in on No Money Down. Kazoo on the outside for Milan Milosevic. Blinkers also go on. Weights get taken off with John Ovello. Second start after a long 3-month break where he was also gelded, so came back as a gelding, sped along in in that return race, but folded before the home turn. I think the distance, mile 16, was perhaps the culprit there. I like this strong turn back.
I like the strong turn back. This horse will be coming at the price. But interestingly enough, Milan Milosevic with the blinkers on. As of recent, it's not a strong sample, but he is 20% with the blinkers on off of a short sampling. So that's definitely encouraging for the number 9 because you in your exacta.
That certainly works. We'll take a quick break. Stay with us for this short message.
I have been around horses my entire life. I love every bit of it. I love helping the babies along the way. I love helping the older horses be more comfortable in themselves. I love seeing the babies develop from babies to racehorses. I love being there when they put it all together, when they win or when they find what they're supposed to do.
Welcome back, guys. We're here at Laurel Park, race number 5 out of 8, 6 furlongs at distance. Nickel starter allowance in here. And Callie, I think the first thing what popped up in my mind is that to me it looks like it's going to be between the number 1 Pictor as well as the number 6 Beverly Park, and then kind of the rest of the field. They seem like the 2 heavyweights in here.
They are the 2 heavyweights in this field. I mean, if you're just looking at it at numbers alone with performance numbers, whichever type of numbers you use, they just absolutely stand out. And then you have Tim Kreiser, who has been doing well shipping into Laurel as of late. He's consistent. If they're not winning, they're still
talking about the number 1, right? Pictor?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Sorry, guys. I am talking about the number 1 Pictor leading into that. A nice ship in from Tim Kreiser. He has been doing pretty well as far as consistency with his Laurel ship-ins, and I don't think this filly is going to be any exception at all. Once they're on a winning roll, he's 30%, winning 2 in a row. So that's there's just a lot of angles that I like for this filly.
Yeah, and this Gelding actually returned to his old form after that break, didn't he? Seems to really be cycling back up, has speed, has a good inside draw. Look, it was very close for me between the 1 and the 6 in here. Like you said, Tim Kreiser bringing over horses here, that works perfectly. I like the draw. I gave a slight edge to Beverly Park because I think that with that early speed, he can kind of pressure the issue from the outside. Victor Carrasco on board. Dominant performance last time out, being left alone on the lead. Now we know that Pictor is probably just as fast, if not faster. So I have to kind of show a different dimension in here. But I think Victor Carrasco is going to help him out.
Well, I mean, it's kind of the same argument for both of them. I mean, listen, Norman Cash has been doing great here at Laurel ever since bringing some horses over here. But both Pictor and Beverly Park, they both been having these races where they both have had these 3-4 length leads. So this is going to be the battle to see who can handle the kind of pressure. But Beverly Park has been able to handle pressure. If you go back at Churchill back in November 11th of last year, in that allowance, was able to handle a bit of early pressure and just went on and went away with it.
Yeah, no, and that's kind of what you're hoping to see here today. Both of them will have to be content with having someone near them, because I think those 2 are going to put a bit of distance between themselves and the field early. So then you start to look who might fill 3rd spot. You use Top Boss underneath. He's probably going to sit that stalking position and might just get the jump on the closes.
And that's exactly what I'm going off of, Naomi, because that's where this is a race where you start choosing, who's gonna draw in on the inside. That's drawing afterwards with the 1 and the 2. That's where who's gonna be picking up the pieces. And with what I saw last time, granted it was a 16 level, but it was a wet track, so this horse did perform on a wet track. And David Mohan has been on fire recently, especially with Bryson Butterfly. He's been at 44% riding for David Mohan.
Wow, that's certainly a very good combination to keep our eyes on when hitting at 44%. Yeah, I use a closer underneath the number 8, keeping the peace for Bob Leaf. We were discussing there's going to be a pace present. I think keeping the peace is going to try and capitulate on that. But Revolutionary Road is also pretty fast. Both of us use him underneath. I think he's going to try and stalk them, maybe punish them in the end if they've gone too fast.
Yeah, he's been proven to do it. It's, if you've got to go a little bit far back in, last summer at June at Pimlico, where he was in that tracking position just off the leaders, which he could easily get into that spot again and take advantage of it there. So he won on the lead last time, but there's more to him than that, which is why I have him underneath.
Yeah, so do I. So I kind of like with that your assessment there. Race number 6 is what we move on to. Another maiden claiming event, 10 to 8,000. 1 turn, 1 mile distance, fillies and mares, 4 and 5-year-old. We kind of in unison in here in terms of our top selection. Humming the Funk for trainer Hamilton Smith. Her effort in January showed that she's kind of racing herself back into fitness after a small winter break. Now she gets down to the lowest level she's ever competed at over a distance that she seems to relish.
She really does like that 1 turn mile here at Laurel, and the last time we saw her do it was last time out. As of recently, on a track with some moisture in it, so I think she's going to like that today.
I think so as well.
Absolutely. So I think those are 2 really easy, simple angles to go after it with Hum in the Funk today.
Yeah, and then Pearly Veil, I use underneath in third. You have her in your exacta. I think in her last outing, she was just a little bit exhausted battling on the lead, but she hung in there to hold off the rest of the field for a second when Elbow Chinchuk just put about a furlong in between herself and the rest.
Yes. So no, that this filly, she's kind of been put in a lot of different positions, and she's still run well. I mean, she's been hitting the board in her last 5 out of 6 starts, so that's something to be said for that. And she improved last time. When the one time she didn't hit the board, she kind of gunned for the lead, but in this time she gunned for the lead last time out, and she fared a bit better. So as you said, I think this filly's a little bit on the upswing. Lacey Gaudet, 23% sprint to route.
That certainly works. I used Got a Good Reason, number 6 in my exacta. Took a tumble at the start last time. I'd still sped up to hold her 2-path. Only Icy Harbor was one of the speedsters in front that prevailed. The rest all folded, and the groups running behind them kind of started to pick up the pieces. So I think that was a bit of an excuse if you're looking for one here.
Yes.
For the number 6, Got a Good Reason. Race number 7 is next, which is a Maryland-bred allowance, and we're going the mile and 16 around the 2 turns here. And we do have a video spotlight on the number 4, Ain't de Beer Cold, who is finding a softer field in here. And that last race, he did a lot of work early on the rail. He is the number 2, joined by 3 other runners on his outside. He didn't back up until the last furlong. He hung in there. To me, the gutsiness he showed and the tenacity was probably one of his better performances of 2021.
Absolutely. When you're getting dogged like that, especially at that, pivotal moment around the track, and still able to kind of pick himself up and carry himself along and just really not giving up, I think that, that really says something for itself. I think that horse he also ran very hard in that last allowance before the optional claiming that we just witnessed. So when you're running that hard, it's going to take a little bit of steam out of it. But again, I think he fares much better today with what he's going up against. And I agree with you, which is why I also have him on top.
He finds quite a likable group in comparison.
Yeah.
I mean, he was up against 2 other then optional claimers, which was pretty tough because he was actually still eligible for this condition. So now back in here, I think that's certainly going to work out for him. To me, also looks like the speed of the speed. He's going to try and get to the front. Perhaps Cosmicality might give him a little bit of a run for his money early.
Underneath.
I agree with you. He did kind of turn things around last time out, which was impressive because I hadn't seen that much from him early.
Right.
But Artistic Reason on the rail, he struggled last out, but I think that race might have given him some needed fitness. And if you look at the Jamie Nesbot over the last 2 days, he's gone 2 from 4 on the Friday, 3 from 5 yesterday. Incredible strike rate.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like now that some of these horses are basing here at Laurel, they're kind of, for some of them, it just takes him a while to get there because he was getting cold for a while, but now he's back on the upswing. And looking at Artistic Reason, I know you and I both remember what type of horse he's like. He's that bigger, not burlier, but just bigger enough type where I agree with you. I think he just did need the race after that little bit of a break.
Yeah, and you already mentioned cosmicality underneath that. We do know he's a half brother to Horse of the Year, Nick's Go. So want to keep an eye on him. Really, really seems to have turned the tables in that last outing. Also, I use the number 7 Edict underneath as that kind of closure style to possibly pick up a couple of pieces. Final race on the card, another maiden claiming event. Maiden claiming 10 to 8,000, mile and 16 the distance here. 4 straight 3-year-old fillies, and we'll just start with the horse that you actually have on top in here. That is the number 5. She's a trip for Jeremiah Engelhardt. Look, 4-time beaten favorite though, but she does get Lasix and more distance. She has consistent efforts, and I think she's gonna go with the group and pick up 2nd or 3rd. But you think she's got what it takes to put her nose in front today?
I do, because I think she's just been asking for a little bit more of this distance, and I think she was a bit the Parks. With Parks, it's tricky. When she ran that mile at Parks, some horses just really take to Parks, and some horses just really don't. And I think she was the latter of this. Yeah. And I mean, Jeremiah Engelhardt, he's 18% first-time Lasix and second-time routing. He's got that 20%. For a trainer like him, it's industry average 20% with that sprinter route. So I just think, and again, she's out of Mucho Macho Man, who is 17% with the second-time routing.
Well, that certainly helps as well. Yeah, talking about some kind of routing pedigree, I'm going with the price pay again in this maiden 10 field, 15 to 1 on the number 3. Well, 15 to 1 morning line. I'm not sure we're going to get it, but I hope we will. Imagine the mojo for trainer Michael Trombetta, John Avello, aboard, taking that weight off. She was completely outsprinted in her debut race, going 5.5 furlong. The switch to double the distance, the fact that she's by Imagining, I think they're just a little bit better routing. I think these 2 turns are going to show her in a completely different light. Yeah,
and I mean, that's fair. He's industry average with his first time route, about a little bit above, about 12%. But absolutely, I mean, taking the weight off, that makes things much, much easier for them. And I have a feeling she'll like the mud as well, because Imagining does well with the wet dirt with his progeny.
Yeah, and I definitely feel like a couple of these we have a couple maiden 10 races here.
Yes, we do.
And I'm trying to get prices in those, because those are the kind of races that you'll see a horse jump up, especially at a track that is good as well. Like you said, possible horses that just take to it a little bit more than some others do. Now, Key Machine on the rail, both of us have in 2nd. She was running on through the wire in her last race over 7, which suggested that the added distance could be in her favor today. Plus, she's been plying her trade on the off-going a couple of times.
She has, and I'm kind of combined all of that into one nice little package. I agree with you. I do think she was asking for much more, finishing out well enough, going that 7 furlong, so she gets, she's going around 2 turns today, and we haven't seen her do that yet. But again, from what I've seen, I think she's just asking for it. Keen Ice, he does okay, a little bit low with his just average, 10% with his second-time routers. But again, it's just kind of going off of, I just think she looked like she needed more, especially after that last start.
And that was the final race on the card. We do have first post at 12:25. Callie and I will be on hand this afternoon to guide you through it on the Super Bowl Sunday. Of course, Dave Rotman will be coming up shortly to tell you about a couple of the scratches. Not too many. Fields held together pretty decently today.